G'day everybody and welcome to WTF along with Dr. Christiaan Willems and also Angela Heise and myself, Alan Stevens. Today we wanted to have a bit of a chat about appointments, or more to the point, cancelling appointments and when it's appropriate. Now, Angela, you were just talking about an event that just happened with you recently. You like to tell us that?
So the one thing that I have noticed is a lot of appointment making is now automated. I have a booking system where people can just book themselves in. And now I don't know if anybody actually shows up until they do. So I had an appointment with somebody this week and I'm waiting in the Zoom room, and 2 minutes before the appointment, the person canceled the appointment. They just removed themselves from the address, from the calendar, and it sends me a notification cancel. But there's no explanation why. There's no, I'm sorry, I can't make it. It's just the person has just canceled and has disappeared. And since it was somebody I hadn't met yet, I sent them a message and said, I hope everything is okay. Let me know if you want to reschedule. Zero. No response whatsoever. And I find that, quite honestly, really sad.
Well, it impacts, doesn't it? As soon as that happens and that person has virtually told you they don't respect you, they don't respect your time, and they were coming to you to talk about collaboration or whatever it might have been, where's your desire to collaborate with them at that point? People don't realize their actions speak louder than words. I often say to people, I can't hear a word you're saying because your actions are deafening. And that action really tells us that, hey, this is somebody I probably shouldn't be doing any work with or not even worrying about from this point on.
Yeah. Except in this case, I would have loved some words, because they would have spoken better. They would have spoken a more polite, a more appreciative language than I'm canceling, I'm hitting the cancel button. But it's just, and again, it's that whole focus on I can't be bothered, I'm too busy. So that's okay. I can just cancel myself out. And and you can't, I mean, the one thing that I've learned is time frames are just so much shorter now. You want to, and this is part of the cancellation, the cancel culture. If people don't want to commit until 1 or 2 days before, and then they still don't know if they're going to show up. I mean, I love the Facebook thing. Interested, maybe, yes, where's the commitment?
So that's the thing. Our social media is definitely not social when it starts putting those things in.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely antisocial, social media, and it's skewing every relationship, really, isn't it? Social media, and in ways that aren't very appealing, I have to say. And again, it always comes back to respect. I'm curious, Angela, did you follow up beyond the is everything okay, or have you not? They didn't respond, so you didn't bother.
I didn't hear anything back from that person, and I'm also not somebody who stalks people.
No, indeed.
If somebody cancels an appointment without letting me know why, they don't respond to a message of, are you okay? Is everything all right? I hadn't met that person yet. If it had been you, and you had canceled without an explanation, I would not have just, sent a message. I would have called up and said, hey, that's so unlike you. Are you okay?
Yeah, well, indeed. Well, I found myself in hospital unexpectedly last week, so that could have been the reason why. And when you're in hospital, you don't think, "Oh my God, I've got an appointment." When the crawling all over. But yes,
that situation. If you hadn't responded back, and we would have been ringing the hospital to start with, doing a circle around, going each one, I've got Dr. Chris there. And oh, by the way, that'd confuse them. You got Dr. Chris there.
Yeah. If you establish a reputation for being somebody who basically nilly-willy cancels appointment, who's going to care? Who's going to say, oh, that's really unusual, that this person didn't show up? They will go, oh, well, that's just who they are. So if anything really happens to you, they may not be somebody who reaches out to find out if they can help.
Indeed, and that speaks to the superficiality of relationships these days. That if there's someone that and they don't turn up, well, then there's probably something wrong, and you try and find out. But with superficial relationship, you don't bother trying to find out because okay, that's cancelled. So it speaks to the sort of the depth of relationships or lack of, and that's why relationships are so special. Sorry, Alan. Well, these kind of relationships are so special because we do interact. We do speak to each other. We do know each other and understand, you know, if there's issues where you have to cancel the meeting, yeah, that's fine. But we let each other know. But yeah, that doesn't happen often enough. I don't.
Well, if somebody lets you know, then when you do connect later on, you got a starting point for the conversation. It was, how did all that go? Did you sort the issue out or whatever it might have been? If they said, oh, I had to go and look after one of the kids, you know, you had to get them back from school, take them to hospital. You go, well, tell us about that. So you're having a conversation, we're getting to know somebody. So that can be an advantage. But I've had somebody say to me when I was talking to them, I said, oh, so-and-so didn't turn up. And they went, oh, yeah, they're like that. They do that. And I go, you accept that? The person, oh, no, they're just like that. And I say, well, have you ever done any work with them? No, I haven't. They still won't do work with that person, even though they may go, oh, that's just how they are, because we make allowances for the wrong type of people. And if you're the one who says, look, I turn up on time, I let people know, and this has just happened to me, and you're telling somebody else, the way people are handling it today, they look at you as though you're the problem. No, the problem is the person who didn't show the respect. They've told me that I'm not important. What we're talking about, something else was more important for them. They haven't told me, you know, when I've asked them, well, you know, is everything okay? I didn't hear from you, and you don't reply to it. How does that damage your reputation when you do that to somebody? And that's a message I'd like to get across to people is think before you act. When it comes to all of this, put yourself in the other person's point of view and go, okay, what would I like to receive? Not just what will I tolerate?
And damage to professional reputation is something that carries on for a long time. It takes a long time to build a professional reputation, but it can take a nanosecond to destroy it.
That's it.
And we need to keep thinking about what's this doing to our reputation? What kind of engagement? What's the quality of the engagement that I'm having with clients, customers, colleagues, whatever? And so, and just, again, you know, being conscious of all the implications of what we do or don't do. That's very.
I just, before we wrap up, I just wanted to say also, it's not just professional relationships, it's also the personal relationships. So I mean, the three of us are self-employed. So I generally have with friends, we have these rules that says you can cancel an appointment, even if it's short notice, if something really important work-wise has come up, especially if it involves earning money. But it's not something that can serve as an excuse every time. You get the get out of jail free card a couple of times. When it becomes a pattern, then that's a different story. And also, you know, if you know, let us know early enough. If you know a week before something has changed, don't call 10 minutes before and say, sorry, my plans have changed. Give people as much notice as possible. And again, if you talk to people about that and you set these guidelines for how do we cancel appointments and what do we do when we're not available, what it does is it creates that predictability also in the brain again that we just love. We want to know where we're going and it doesn't throw us. So my recommendation is always to say to people, okay, how do we cancel appointments with each other? What are we going to do? And when you've got that, then life becomes so much better because it's not the unpleasant surprise that I had the other day when I was at an event already and a friend sent a text message and said, oh, sorry, I've got a cold. It's not getting better. I'm not coming. And I was already at the event, you know? So it's the consideration. It's just put some thought into, and I sound really paternal here now. Please just consider the other person. Allow them to also be flexible and maybe make arrangements themselves instead of just going, they're going to go anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
That's it. If you think you know something's coming up, you can let the person know this may be coming up and may have to cancel at the last minute, so they know what's happening. So but you don't just not turn up. You then send them a message, say, hey, what I mentioned before has come up. I'm going to have to postpone today. And
communication.
Well, it is. It's communication. That's it.
Basic communication. Yes, indeed. Angela.
Let's continue to build bridges of respect, one conversation at a time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Dr. Chris Willems. Thank you, Alan Stevens and Angela Heise. We look forward to seeing you next time.